Hi, my name is Jose Alvaro.
And I'm Maureen Bautista.
So today we are discussing the sarcophagus of the spouses. It is a form of early Etruscan art dating around 520 to 510 BC.
It is a very large piece of painted terracotta work now housed in the Louvre.
So this double sarcophagus has two compartments, one for the woman and the other for the man, but on top we see them lounging intimately together.
This perspective was forward-thinking during the time of the Etruscans.
The married couple, depicting with smiling, serene expressions, are joined close together, lying side by side on the bed in the recumbent position typical of banquets, stated by Pascal.
The man's arm is gently wrapped around his wife's shoulders while her hands are holding objects.
These objects could have been drinking vessels, food, or embalming oil used for the dead. These objects could have been necessary for their afterlife.
Then, their positions show their connectedness and their love towards one another.
They are able to show their facial expressions of content with each other, something uncommon as the artists mostly showed vague and unemotional faces.
To enhance this, it was uncommon to find either sculptures or paintings with lovers showing their true emotions.
Since the terracotta is painted, the artists which created them gave both their skin and hair color a much more realized interpretation of these humans.
However, the paint does appear intensified because of the deep reds, blacks, and white colors. There is no gradient, giving a stylized appeal apparent during the time period of the Etruscans.
The woman has a much more lighter skin tone due to the fact she was indoors and rarely worked outside the home.
The man, on the other hand, is much darker, representing his time outside working and providing for his family.
These gender roles were a large part of Etruscan society that all men and women conformed to.
Women congregated in groups to discuss daily lives, whereas men worked together in the hot, basking sun.
Although of their defined gender roles, Etruscan political life was thousands of years ahead of other civilizations. Women had a public life, whereas in other cultures, they were confined to their homes while the man brought in the dough.
On the topics of sarcophagi, let's discuss our next piece, the sarcophagus of Junius Bassus.
This is a piece of early Christian art made in 359 AD, where the original is housed in the treasury of St. Peter's Basilica, and the copy is on display in the Public Vatican Museum.
Made out of marble, our eyes gravitate towards the elegantly crafted sides of the sarcophagus, containing depictions from both the New and Old Testaments.
In contrast to the earlier work, the figures seem much more natural in their stances, unpainted of pure marble in high relief.
The high relief and detail of these figures almost seem as if they are disconnected from the tomb.
The overall harmony and balance of the sarcophagus of Junius Bassus allows the observer to view it as a single sculpture, and the detail draws attention to each individual scene, stated by Schutman.
Let's zoom in on the central compartment holding Jesus and his two followers.
These followers are most likely the disciples Peter and Paul.
Jesus is portrayed in his youth with a clean-shaven face, a representation based off of Apollo, versus the bearded and long-haired Jesus most people know from the representations of Jupiter or Zeus.
Jesus is standing over a pagan river god, showing his divine power over the past polytheistic religions.
Christianity wanted to abolish and take rule over these old Greek and Roman polytheistic religions, so now Jesus is the ruler of the one true heaven.
Moving backwards to the Old Testament is the story from Genesis, the first man and woman, Adam and Eve.
The tree of knowledge of good and evil is in the background, while the serpent is slowly coiling around the trunk near their feet.
Adam and Eve are covering their private parts based on the fall.
Their heads are facing downwards and away from each other.
In addition, their heads are much larger in scale compared to the rest of their bodies.
The contrapposto poses have them leaning on one of their legs while their hands rest in their lap.
Aside from the large heads, the bodies are realistic, but the proportions of the sculpture seem like they are as tall as the tree.
If we move leftwards to the bottom corner, we now find another Old Testament story about the unconditional faithfulness of Job to God.
Here, Job is sitting down, while his left foot is perched on what appears to be a pile of bricks.
The two men behind him are most likely his friends, stating that his boils or misfortunes are a sign of unfaithfulness to God.
However, as the story goes, Job kept his faith to God. Job knows there is a purpose for suffering and why God let all these bad things happen to him.
I would also call to the attention of the columns separating each scene.
Each of them are unique, consorting to the Corinthian and Roman Ionic styles.
Overall, these two sarcophagi show a wide variety of tomb styles, varying in both simplicity, medium, and time period.
The sarcophagus of the spouses shows love and compassion between a man and a woman.
And the sarcophagus of Junius Bassus depicts not the person within the tomb, but rather a representation of Christianity at the height of the Roman Empire. Thank you for your time.